Well, last weekend I went to Triples, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a massive wargaming convention. Now, I'm presuming many of you have seen the title of the video. I'm presuming that I'm going to bash Games Workshop. In a way, yes, I am bashing Games Workshop, but at the same time, I really don't want to. I really don't want to, because I absolutely love the product that Games Workshop have done. The universe, their models, they're fantastic. But the Games Workshop now is not the Games Workshop I fell in love with, and I think it's more to do with, it's nothing to do with like the model designs or anything. It seems to be the people at the top, and as everyone knows, price rises. To put it this way, when I first started playing, originally what they used to do was they used to do lead figures when they were lead. And they were the expensive stuff, but the reason why, because they were the most detailed, it was, you know, the best stuff. And you'd be talking what, £25 maybe for you know, a small squad of about 6 of them, which is understandable. But, and this is the big but, what they did as well was, we realise our metal figures are expensive and we want people to play the game, and we want them to play with a massive scale, because, you know, I think, I can't remember what the point system is now. I think it's what, 2,000 points is, I think, the standard army size. So that's a pretty big set, and for someone starting out, you know, if you're going to try and fill your squads, that's what you're talking. What if back at those prices, not now prices, but you're talking nearly £100 to get your manpower up for just for your squads, and then of course you've got vehicles and, you know, special characters, things like that. But their standard infantry, what they did was, here are our models in plastic. Not only that, here's 20 of them in a box for, I think it was about £15 or £16, and it was great. You could get them in a box, bang, and I think you could even get individual squads, I think, for about £5. I mean, and those were the plastic ones, and it was great. You know, it made it so easy for people to come into Games Workshop, because Games Workshop, I'm pretty sure it still probably is, I'm pretty sure it was definitely for many people their way into wargaming. But over the years they've sort of moved it away to now, where at Triples I went with 2 other people, and we thought, yeah, let's get back into it. And what did we all play? 40k, Warhammer. Looked at the prices. Well, the people that, you know, the Triples that they were offering was nothing compared to what Games Workshop were offering. They were like, you know, we were talking at least 15% off some of the places, and, you know, you were getting a good deal for, you know, what you were getting in the box. But that's what's the main problem with Games Workshop is now. You do not get your value for money, purely and simple. Because, back when I first started, the original sort of starter box, where you just got a load of Marines, you got a load of Orcs, you got your templates, your dice, all that stuff in the box, the sort of starter kit, for, I believe it was either £50 or £60. Now you're talking at least 80, I think it is now. Maybe 90, and of course, that's a huge price increase. Now, I understand, obviously, you know, they are a company and they exist to make money, but I entirely disagree with their continual price rises, because if you look in Games Workshop, or you literally put in YouTube Games Workshop rant, you will see loads of people who are basically going, I can't afford to play Games Workshop anymore. And it's not because, well, the thing is they could, but you'd have to do it at a lot slower rate, which means you wouldn't be able to play the game, you know, as fast as you wanted to. But there's so many other, as I read, you know, at Triple, there's so many other games out there that are so much cheaper to start and get into. For example, one that I'm looking to start into is Dystopian Wars, and you're talking a starter box for them, just their initial a fleet of Kingdom of Britannia, is about £30–35, something like that. So that's incredibly cheap. And then you've also got to think of paints on top of that. But if you think of a starter kit now for Games Workshop, and you include price of paints in that as well, you're talking well over £100. If it was Dystopian Wars, I'm spending under at least £60–70 from what I can see at the moment. And that's just for a starter. Just for a starter kit, you know. So, and not only that, but there are other games as well which are far, far cheaper. I mean, In Her Majesty's Name, which is another one I'm starting. It's cost me, what, £24 for a company, which is all you need to play the game. That's going to cost me, I reckon, at least under £50. And quite frankly, when you look at it economically wise, I'm going to play those games with Games Workshop. You know, how long before... and people are leaving the game because they are complaining about the price. There are other reasons as well, and I completely agree with those other reasons. But how long before the trickle of people becomes a flood and people just leave? I think Games Workshop will be around, but I think in a couple of years' time they're going to encounter a huge problem. For starters, as I've said, I met one of the exhibitors at Triples, showing off models he'd printed in 3D printing, and he was telling us how cheap it was for 3D printing. So my plea to Games Workshop is are you going to invest in 3D printing? And if you do, are those 3D printing models going to be cheaper, so that you can do like you did in the past, like you've got the expensive stuff, which is really highly detailed, but you've got the cheaper stuff at the other end, which is not as well detailed, but you can build your armies a lot faster. I really hope they go in that direction, because, to be honest, it's not going to take long for someone with decent skills, and before, literally in a couple of years' time, you know, you're going to be able to get, you know, 3D printers in your home. It's not going to take someone, you know, with a lot of talent to go, I can 3D print those Games Workshop models cheaper than it is to buy them. And you are going to see people essentially pirating models. That's what's going to happen. Because, quite frankly, they, as you know, pirates, you know, generally justify it is cost. It's cheaper to me to go to someone I know, you know, on the internet. I'll have two, you know, lots of squads of Blood Angels, please. Okay, 20 quid, there you go, thank you. Games Workshop costs what? About what, 60, nearly £70 for that? Games Workshop could be in really serious trouble in a couple of years, particularly if that happens. I mean, that is a very what-if scenario, but I do seriously think it will happen. Because 3D printing, industry-wise, it's there, and people are starting to do it. Home-wise, it's not there yet, but it's getting there. And it won't take long before someone does that.